The Leap Foundation proudly presents the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman. Dr. Bill is a TV host, New York Times best-selling author, two-time Guinness World Book record holder, fitness guru, celebrity cosmetic dentist, and philanthropist who founded the Leap Foundation. Here's Dr. Bill.
Hey, Dr. Bill here. So we are super excited for our Meet the Mentor today, Wayne. And I'll tell you a little bit about Wayne, but first I want to tell you about Leap. Leap 2023 will be July 16th to the 23rd at beautiful UCLA campus. We expect a full crowd. I'm saying like 450 plus students. So we're super excited about that. Also, I'm giving a lecture on December 3rd in London. I haven't been there lecturing for years and years and years. And all the proceeds from that lecture are going to go to the Leap Foundation to sponsor students. Parents, for those of you who don't know what Leap is, it is an amazing program. Leaders, entrepreneurs, accelerating performance. We are the program that teaches your students the skills that they need to be successful in life, and it works. We're in our 16th year. We've had thousands of students go through the program with raging reviews. People love it. They absolutely adore it, and they come back year after year. I meant raving reviews. Come back year after year after year. And this year promises to be exciting. We've got great speakers lined up. I think we'll get John Legend and his beautiful wife, Chrissy Teigen, to speak. We have Shay Mitchell from Pretty Little Liars, who has an enormously successful luggage line at Nordstrom. And we will have a plethora of other great motivational speakers for your students. So please check us out. Go to www.leapfoundation.com. And now it is my pleasure to introduce you to Wayne Altman. He is an entrepreneur and founder of Melody Clouds. What's Melody Clouds? Well, Wayne suffers from tinnitus. For those of you that don't know what tinnitus is, it's a ringing of the ears that can literally drive someone crazy. Some people have a very mild case. Other people have really extreme cases. And it has really been, known to destroy some people's lives. We don't know what causes it. We don't know how to cure it. And it's one of those ailments that you just have to learn how to live with. And Wayne has discovered something that will really help you. So he was looking for relief when he became aware of binaural beats. He noticed that the only way he could stop experiencing extreme ringing in both ears was when he listened to specific tones of music. So, after failing to find what he needed on existing subscription sites, Wayne began collecting appropriate tracks from producers all over the world in dozens of different types and styles to suit musical tastes, and his company Melody Cloud was born. It specializes in binaural beats, and these beats can even be a frequency that's actually undetectable for you to hear in your ear, but it's the first time in his life that he got tinnitus where he actually had silence. And for some people, it's really a life changer. Melody Beats now has 8,000 hours of different kinds of music and meditation and binaural beats. He also has over 16,000 audiobooks, all designed to relax and educate, and translated into 100 different languages. Its membership spans across the globe. Wayne owns multiple online businesses, all designed to enrich the lives of his customers and his community, and is determined to share the healing and beneficial effects of his technology to anyone who wants it. If you want more information on Instagram, it's Melody Cloud, CLOU. And if you want to go to his website, it's simply melody.com. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to Wayne. Wayne, thank you for being on Meet the Mentor.
Hey, very good to be here. Listen, I want to correct something right up front. So you talk to a lot of young people, and I want to address them because we do know what causes tinnitus or tinnitus, and they need to protect their ears. So loud music, loud noises. For me in particular, I was in the Army for 8.5 years. So I heard a lot of explosions and a lot of gunfire and that kind of stuff. And that's what gave me this condition. So I want to make it very clear that your hearing is very precious and you want to protect it as best you can from these loud, from loud noises and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. The crazy thing, though, is somebody standing right next to you can hear the exact same noises
100%.
and tinnitus, and you do. How long have you been suffering from this?
Oh, at least 30, 35 years at this point.
I mean, I have 2 dental friends who have it really badly, and I know their biggest struggle is sleep. They can't fall asleep at night because there's just this ringing in their ears all the time.
Yeah, one of the things I'm very proud of about Melody Clouds is there are certain things that we do very, very well. And one of those things is sleep. We were talking about binaural beats. We also do solfeggio frequencies, and we can get into that in a minute if you want. But we have the ability, our tagline is take charge of your mood, but it also is sleep too. Your brain operates, the electrical signals are at certain frequencies. And if you can manipulate those frequencies, you can put someone in REM sleep, drop them like a sack of potatoes, and it works. I mean, you will get the best sleep possible, just by listening to certain frequencies, or like mind racers. That's my problem. I got tinnitus and I'm a mind racer. So when I go to sleep, my mind is going, "No, buddy, we're still working. It's still time to work."
So Wayne, explain how binaural beats works, how this frequency works, because when I first read your information, I thought it was some kind of like music that I'm listening to with this secret little thing in it. But in essence, you can actually wear earbuds where you're not thinking or hearing something, and the frequency is still creating the environment to stop the tinnitus, correct?
You can 100% walk around, listen to. One thing I will tell you, we're adding to Melody Clouds. Once the app is going to be available very shortly on both the iOS and on Google Play. So Android users will be able to have it as well, where you will be able to build your own, and you'll be able to direct whether you want to be in focus or whether you want to sleep. Binaural beat takes one frequency in one ear, one frequency slightly different in the other ear. Your brain will then create the frequency between to give you the ability to do whatever, whether it's focus, whether it's sleep, whether it's a sense of spiritual well-being, grief. That's a huge one for us. So someone suffering from a death in the family, or maybe a breakup, or they're sad, they use this in the treatment of PTSD and clinical depression a lot, because you can actually give people moments, periods of time where they don't feel this overwhelming, crushing grief. And that makes me feel really good just being able to say that.
That's amazing. So how did you discover the binaural beats? Like, how did you, you're not a doctor.
No.
I mean, you have medical. So, how did you actually discover all this?
So I was in a conversation with a friend of mine, and they noticed that I was distracted. And I was, look, there are triggers for tinnitus. I mean, if I drink a lot of caffeine, or if I haven't gotten a very good night's sleep, my tinnitus will be way worse than it was the day before. So I was very distracted. And they said, "Have you ever tried, binaural beats?" And I'm like, "No, what is that?" They explained it to me in a very rudimentary, very crude manner. And I was like, "Look, man, I'm okay, whatever." They said, no, look, put these headphones on and just let me do a couple So they let me hear a couple different frequencies. About the third or fourth frequency, I heard nothing. And to most people, it would be, okay, you heard nothing. No, you don't understand. For the first time in 30 years, I really heard nothing. I did not hear this screeching going on in my head that I am hearing right now while I'm talking to you. You know how incredibly distracting that can be when you've got a ringing in your head no one else can hear except for you. That moment, 2 days later, I bought the domain Melody Clouds. You were naming, like the audio books and all that stuff. I was sitting there chuckling because we are so far past that. In just 4 months, we have over 300,000 files on Melody Clouds for our subscribers to enjoy.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, what you're doing is life-changing.
For a lot of people, it is. And I don't want to sound hyper dramatic, but it is.
So we're going to switch gears for a sec, okay? Sure. Because one of the things that we love to teach at Leap is how to build a business, okay? So what you did was you discovered something. And let's say I'm a student sitting here listening to this, and I have something equivalent to Melody Clouds, a different business or whatever. Once you find something that valuable, walk me through how this became a business for you.
Okay. By the way, I had no idea when I walked in who I was talking to. I have to be, that is to my, detriment. What you are doing is so incredible. I have 3 kids. I have 3 girls. And what you are doing, Bill, is so incredibly important to me. It makes me feel smaller.
Wayne, I have 3 girls too. How old are yours?
So I have a 21-year-old that will graduate from college this year. I have a senior in high school that's going to college on a full ride volleyball scholarship to Iowa, not the University of Iowa, but to a college in Iowa. And I have a freshman in high school who also plays volleyball and thinks, and she probably is God's gift to volleyball. But, so I'm what you're doing, I have been trying to instill in my kids from day one of their birth.
Well, guess what? We have room for all 3 of your girls at Leap this year.
You'll be seeing them.
My girls all went through it obviously the program is for 15 to 25-year-olds. My girls started coming to Leap at the inception 16 years ago. Wow. And, now my girls are all grown. I've got 25, 25, and 30. And they're all thriving. And a lot of, I would attribute a lot of the success that they've had is from the skills that they learned.
100%. There's that's beyond a question. Listen, when you think about it, when this country was founded, 90% of the population worked for themselves, 10% worked for other people. Now we've flipped that. It's actually going back the other direction now, thanks to programs like yours, thanks to people who are realizing, okay, I don't want to rely on someone else for my employment or for my well-being. So what you're doing is, amazing.
All right. So let's spread the wealth. So teach my students how you start a business. So here you're suffering from a condition. You find a cure for this condition. You create a company called Melody Cloud. Let's go through the steps. The first thing you need to do, get a business license, right?
Correct.
Get your domains, right?
Yeah, then you get a domain. I had the business license and the LLC was in place. Those things are relatively inexpensive. You want to protect yourself, right?
Okay.
The first thing you want to do is you want to take stock. What am I going to need in order to make this succeed? And how many of these things am I skilled at, or at least can have a conversation about? Because you're going to need to employ people to do things for you that you are unable to do or
100%. So how many employees
do yourself?
How many employees do you have now?
I'm it. I have over this period of time, I have amassed enough skills in these individual areas that I am now able to build a website and buy a domain and do the accounting. And I was just on the phone for 3 hours with Apple yesterday. My new best friend is Sarah at Apple. Shout out to you.
Right.
Pushing this app through their process.
So it would be my hunch would be that probably the most important thing right now is customers. How do you get the word out? And I know, social media and this and that, but there's so much stuff out there on social media. How do you get people to focus in on Melody Cloud?
Very simple. People miss the best that be of service. Be of service to others. Do not be selfish. And here's what I mean by that. My customers come from partnerships. So I'll go to an organization and I'll say, listen, I want to give you 20 lifetime subscriptions to Melody Clouds. You use those to draw more subscribers or more customers to your business. Then that will lead me to, hey, guess what? I would like to do an offer to all of your customers. So I'm going to take $2 off of, and by the way, let's try it right now. So everyone that's listening, I'm going to do 2 months for $2.99 to Melody Clouds. $2.99, 60 days. You try it, you see if you like it. If you don't, no harm, no foul. The biggest button on my app is the unsubscribe button, because I only want people who are excited and who want to use this app. I don't want anyone's money that does not enjoy what it is I'm doing. How's that?
You know what, Wayne? That's genius. And I'm going to float something by you. When I started practicing in LA, I went right to Beverly Hills, right? The last thing that Beverly Hills needed was another cosmetic dentist, right? They've got boatloads of them right out the door here. So the thing that I did that really kickstarted my business was I hired a great publicist. Now, what do you think it would do for your business if you got on Oprah?
Oh, massive. Which you guys have met Diana. I mean, she's probably one of the greatest assets that I've ever met in my entire life. That's how we met.
Right. So let's talk about working with a publicist, because that's kind of next level. And I think that a lot of young people don't realize that, even though that's kind of an old-fashioned thing, and yeah, you've got social media out there, if you don't have the right person connecting you to the right people, like Diana connecting you and I, you're never going to go anywhere in business, right?
100%. And I'll go one step further than that. Once this is over, our conversation is over, it doesn't end for me. I am going to go to my network and I'm going to promote this conversation with them. I'm also going to go to other networks and I'm going to spend a bit of money to promote and let people in on the conversation that you and I are having. Now, what does that do for me? Well, 2 things. Number 1, it probably ingratiates the heck out of you to me, because you see the amount of people that just watched this conversation. That's number 1. Now I'm your new best friend. Then you and I come back together and say, hey, listen, that worked very well. Let's do it again. And how are other ways we have that we can work together on this project? Because the things that you and I are doing wouldn't necessarily cross paths. However, you can make them run parallel and beneficial to one another.
100%. And I'm going to throw another thing out there real quick. Where do you live, Wayne?
Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right up the street from you.
That's where Discus Dental was. That's where my headquarters were for, I invented Zoom tooth whitening. We were in Rancho Cucamonga. When I used to tell people we were in Rancho Cucamonga, they said, no, there's no such place. I said, no, there really is.
I'm here, right here. I'm right here. This is what it looks like outside right now.
When at LEAP this year, I would love to invite you to come. We do a special little program. I'm going to have James contact you after we're done with this. We do a special part of LEAP where we do 15 minutes of wisdom. They're like TED Talks. and we'll schedule 4 people with 4 different businesses to each give like a little TED talk to our students. And I think our students would love to hear about Melody Clouds and your business.
Yeah.
And then you can actually demo it and stuff for them, which would be awesome.
Yeah, you just 100% detailed my whole strategy on every single one of my businesses. How can I be of service? Giving to others is really how you're going to be successful in anything. And it's also the advantage that you have over maybe some of the larger, I don't have competitors, but over some of the people that are doing this that are maybe larger than I am at the time. Right. I have the ability to immediately on the fly form these partnerships, you and I being one of them, where I say, you know what, that is absolutely what I want to do. And you have my commitment, and I will definitely be there.
And I'll tell you another thing that really helped Discus Dental grow is I spoke at every single dental convention that would let me speak. And I think that what you're doing is something that even, auditory doctors don't know about. And if you can get on the agenda to speak in these different meetings, you'll have them start sending you, patients by the boatload.
Well, what people fail to realize is this: everyone knows that this works. And let me tell you how. I'll prove it to you right now. When you go to the gym and you go to do your workout, there is a certain selection of music that you immediately go to get your pump on. I'm really going to work out, right? It may be heavy metal, but it'll be something that actually gets your juices flowing. You do not use classical music or something that is going to be relaxing and very sedate. Or let's say that you're going into a church environment and you go into a very large church with an organist. Everyone in the room knows to lower their voice and that they're going to be very reverential. Meanwhile, if we cross the street, there's another church that is singing praise music, and everyone's to be loud and to be very praiseful. There's 17 movies in the history of movies that do not have a soundtrack, and there's a reason for that, because that music is what helps you feel the right way about what you see on the screen. WALL-E, you're familiar with the movie WALL-E?
Right.
An hour and 40 minutes into that movie, the first word was spoken. There was no dialogue in that movie. And yet you have 4 and 5-year-olds attention for an hour and 40 minutes because the music told them how to feel about what they were watching.
Totally. Yeah. Listen, Wayne, what you're doing is really, really exciting and life-changing. And we'll have conversations off this Meet the Mentor, but there's things I have some ideas for you on how to grow your business as well. And I have a lot of, in fact, you should speak at dental conventions because there's a lot of dentists that are listening to drills all day long that are suffering from tinnitus.
I was going to mention that. I know exactly how your friend, developed tinnitus. I mean, that drill is, it really, when I go in for dental work and stuff, it immediately sets my tinnitus off. So I don't know how the dentist how they would not get tinnitus doing that job unless they were very protective of their hearing.
Yeah, I used to wear earplugs for years and years and years, and now we have these new quiet drills, so I stopped wearing them just because you got like the mask and the gloves and then the glasses and the this and that. It's like I feel like I'm going in a battle every time I walk into a room. So
that's exactly how I got tinnitus, was going into battle. The last thing you were worried about is maybe later I'll put something in to protect my hearing, but right now we've got a much more important foe to deal with.
Right. Well, let me ask you, what's next for Wayne and Melody Clouds?
So partnerships, really, we are we're in the middle of some very significant partnerships. I am doing a PTSD, a lot of PTSD work, a lot of addiction, helping people with their, overcoming addiction and kind of giving them some relief from PTSD, depression, clinical depression is treated with this. So that is going to occupy a great deal of space for me. You talked about a TED Talk. I'm doing one hopefully in January, TEDx Talk in January. And I'm very excited about that. I've been watching TED Talks for years, and I always imagined myself, being able to, because you're right, I'm not a doctor, and so that to me was a very important, step for me to make,
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So just to repeat, if anybody wants to get more information, just go to melodycloud.com. Correct. Or on Instagram, you go to Melody and then CLOU.
Yeah, they wouldn't give me Melody Clouds on Instagram. I was so disappointed, but it's Melody Cloud on Instagram.
You know what you might try? Try Melody Cloud Official.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Try Melody Cloud Official, because just having the CLOU is confusing and people won't remember. But if you say on Instagram, I'm Melody Cloud Official, that'll be a lot easier for people to remember.
Yeah, that's very good advice. Well, this goes back to what I was talking about when starting a business. There are certain things that you need to be, you need to have those skills, or you need to bring in people that do have those skills.
Well, you can run anything in advertising by me. I've been doing it for 30 years.
A long time. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Wayne, thank you so much. This was really fun, really exciting, and really entertaining and educational. And I look forward to meeting you. James will reach out to you about speaking at LEAP, and we'd love to have your 3 daughters come as well.
Yeah, I will definitely bring them with me because they need to know about you. I'm going to tell you, I'm not kidding, that what you're doing is so important. Very, very important that people understand and get comfortable because they've got a lot to offer. I mean, I know my kids have a ton to offer, and they're maybe not going to be able to offer that if they're locked in and working necessarily with someone else.
Well, give them to us and we'll take them for the whole week of LEAP. And I think you'll be really shocked at what they learn. All right, Wayne, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Dr. Bill, over and out.
Listen to the Meet the Mentor podcast with Dr. Bill Dorfman on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.